Right, so now let's go to the second statement of financial position, or the balance sheet. So it's a snapshot of the business as I said at a set time. So it does include assets, liabilities, and equity. And the financial statement of financial position based on the accounting equation, which is assets minus liabilities equal equity. It has two parts which must be equal. So this is balance, must be balanced. This is a template of statement of financial position. Oh, sorry guys, I know. How are you feeling now? Do you start not liking accounting? And especially, you know how you do it. You need to memorize it by heart, yeah? You'll be fine, guys. You'll be fine. It's fun, yeah? You'll be fine. So this is a template we need to follow for statement of financial position. So don't worry, you will be fine. You will be fine. So let's have a look at this, the previous version of statement of financial position. Yeah. So as I mentioned, the statement relied on counting equation. So we start with assets and we start with non-current assets. We start with non-current assets. So the non-current assets, you list them here, such as premises, vehicles, equipment, and you put the total here. You put the total on the right side. That's called non-current assets. And after that, you start with current assets. Current assets such as inventory, trade receivables, bank cash, and then you add up all and you put the total as total current assets. I would like to add another item and call it total assets. Total assets, which is the sum up of the total non-current assets plus the total current assets. Total assets. After that, we finish assets, we go to liabilities. We start with current liabilities. And for current liabilities, such as trade payable, bank overdraft, again, the total of current liabilities. Now we have an item called net current asset. Net current asset equal total current assets minus total current liabilities. Total current assets minus total current liabilities. Again, this one after you need to write the non-current liability. An example of non-current liability is the long-term loan. Right? So the last one here is the net assets. Last one here is what is the net assets. And the net assets equal total assets minus total liabilities. Total assets minus total liabilities. So this is the first part of the statement, and the second part is the bottom, as you see, is what is the finance by or the equity. You start with the opening share capital, and then you add the profit or loss. If there's a loss, of course, you deduct, and then you take away the drawings. In order to know that you have the right answer, so the net assets must equal the total equity. The net assets must equal what? Must equal the total equity. Because again, we go back to the statement, to the accounting equation, and this is assets minus liabilities. Right. These terms, we explain them. Non-current assets, we explain current assets, We explained the stock, inventory, we explained trade receivables, we explained bank, we explained cash, we explained liabilities, we explained current liabilities and non-current liabilities. So again, let's come to this example. Right, let's have a look now. This is the same examples we used in order to calculate a statement of profit or loss, and now this example we need to calculate a statement of financial position. Statement of financial position. Right, if you remember in the exercise, we went through each item and you wrote beside it where you are gonna record it, or where you're gonna write it, isn't it? Where are you going to record it? So in this case, right, let's do it. You just need to plug numbers into the statements, isn't it? That's what you need to do, really, right? This is statement of financial position at 30th of September 2020. Okay? Start with non-current assets. And if you look at the statement, you will see we have furnitures and fittings is the non-current assets, if you remember when we explained the items there. In this case, you listed under what? You listed under for non-current assets, furniture and fittings. You listed under non-current assets there, and you find out the total of non-current assets, which is £8,000. Again, then you move to current assets, and current assets we have here, if you remember in the question, we have a stock, but if you remember, we did say we need to use the closing stock and not the opening stock. We need to use the closing stock and not the opening stock, which you can find on the top the question. Can you see, guys? 12,000. This is the closing stock. Trade receivables, again from the question, here we go, 6,000. Can you see it? Trade receivables, debtors, and again trade cash. You can see it here. Can you see, guys, cash in the second one? 1,200. And again, I'm repeating again and again and again. Why did we write 1,200 under the current assets, cash or bank? Because £1,200 is written under the debit side. It's money in. It's a positive cash. In the exam, I might do the same and write bank or cash on the credit side. So the 1,200 will be on the credit side, not on the debit side. In this case, it's a money out. It's a bank overdraft. Yeah? What you need to do, you need to write it under the current liability. The current liability. Great. So, okie dokie, here we go. In this case, 12,61200. So the total current assets equal £19,200. Excellent. Right. Now comes to, before we go to current liability, I told you need to add another item and call it total assets. Total assets just makes it easier for you, yeah. So total assets equal the non-current assets, which is the 8,000 plus the £19,200. The £19,200, which is £27,200. Total assets. Now let's come to the current liabilities. When it comes to current liabilities, we have in the question, if you remember, we have the trade payable or the creditors here. If you can see the trade payable or the creditor, yeah. So you need to add it here, which is 4,300. 4,300. So total current liability equal 4,300. Net current assets, if you remember the formula, equal total current assets minus total current liabilities. Total current assets equal £19,200 minus £4,300. So equal £14,900. It's non-net current assets. Non-current liabilities, we have in the question no long-term loan, nothing mentioned that we have bank loan, zero, nothing. Yeah, nothing. In this case, the total liabilities would be the 4,300 plus 0, isn't it? Plus 0, which is 4,300. So total liabilities equal £4,300. So the total assets or the total net assets equal total assets minus total liabilities. Total assets equal £27,200 minus £4,300. That gives us £22,900 net assets. And this is the first part of the statement of financial position. The second part is the equity. The second part is the equity section. Okay. And as you see, we start with the opening capital. And if you look at the question here, can you see, guys, the opening capital? Yeah, can you see? So the opening capital to £22,400. You start with £22,400. You add the profit, the 6,000. Did you remember that 6,000 from where did it come from? Did you remember what I told you? Yeah, the £6,000 came from the first statement we did, the statement of profit or loss. When we prepared the statement of profit or loss, we reached to £6,000 as net profit, and this is we need to add it here. And lastly, you need to deduct the drawings, £5,500, and this is again comes from here. If you look at, yeah, drawings, which is 5,500. So 22,900 is the total equity. As you see, the equation is balanced. So net assets equal total equity. Net assets equal total equity. And this is statement of financial position. Again, it's not that challenging as you think. It just you need to practice on it. This is the way to practice. Remember, the way to know accounting, the way to be confident how to prepare statements is to practice. Quickly now, let's have a look here. Which of the following statements shows a summary of a company's financial position at a specific date? So which statement we did it? We just did statement of financial position. Okay. How about this question? Which of the following financial statements summarizes the profitability of an organization for a particular period? So what do you think? Which statement measures the profitability of the business? Of course, this is the first statement we have done, which is the income statement, profit or loss account. Statement of profit or loss. Yeah. Great. So, right. Any question, guys? Please email me any question. Email me, guys. I'm happy to help as much as I can. Again and again, guys. So, I know you might find it challenging. The only way to get accounting done, the only way is to practice. So don't give up. Listen again and again. So you will be fine at the end. You will be fine. With the practicing seminar question, listening to the lecture recording, I'm sure you will be fine. But I'm here to help, and just email me. I'm here to help. So have a lovely day and take care of yourself. God bless. Bye bye.